Stuart Hoffman of PNC, great to see you here in Maine at Camp Kotok.
Great to see you here. Thanks for being here.
You know, it's interesting because there's always news here, and the jobs report was one of the big news items during Camp Kotok. I guess we're going pretty much on pace, would you say? Over 200,000. Should we be satisfied with that?
I think the economy should be satisfied. I mean, more is always better.
Yeah.
But, because last year we were doing it at a pace of 260,000 a month. But for the first 7 months of this year, we've added about 210,000 jobs after today's number through July. The unemployment rate stayed right where it's at 5.3. The underemployment rate actually fell a little because one of the things Janet Yellen watches closely is people working part-time, not because they want to, not voluntarily, and that fell by almost 200,000 people. So we'd love to do better. We've heard some presidential candidates say we should grow 4%, God bless them, but it does appear as though the economy's potential to grow is somewhere, I think, in the 2 to 2.5% range. And some people say we're stuck there. I would say we're cruising at 2 to 2.5%, which is probably the best we can do for a while.
What would make it better? Is it the job of the Fed, or is it the job of Washington policymakers or the president? What has to happen to see job growth at 250, 300? We did have that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that is the Fed's job or even within their capability. Lots of different people disagree on regulation. Productivity is a fundamental thing that is holding the economy back, worker productivity. Education, less regulation, but these are cumulative over time. I'm not sure what anyone could do in the next year or two to somehow take us from 2% up to 4% on a sustainable basis. Over time, though, it's all about how educated our workforce is, how well motivated they are, and the technology they work with. So that's what we need to do, but it's not the Fed's job. It's probably the private sector and certainly the Congress or the administration trying to get more incentives for the private sector to invest more, and particularly in the public and private education, to put more people into apprenticeships or jobs training. That's not a quick fix, but that's the long run correction.
When do we see significant gains in wages? Because while we've had a pickup, the wage growth has really lagged for some time.
It has, and most of us, maybe including me, that would have thought when you got the unemployment rate this low, you would see some increase. We've seen a little. I mean, wages were growing at under 2%, now maybe 2.25%. Even the number today, year over year, is a little over 2%. But if productivity is slow, worker productivity is slow, wages do over time tend to mirror that. So the answer to your first question about how do we get faster economic growth and how do we get more productivity is also the answer to how we get the 3 or 3.5% wage growth for the American worker. And some of it can be, attempt to do it by minimum wage. That's hard to do. And most of it is the market investing in technology and people being more well-educated. Not an easy answer, but that's the truth.
Always tough issues. Stuart Hoffman, great to talk to you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.